sure. And yeah, you have got eSuba, who have got some great anti-strat material that they can utilize against stronger teams among the likes of Extremum and Fiend, but they haven't been able to have that little edge that's got them past the finish line and get the map themselves, which is the main concern. It's the finishing part that is what's leading into this map loss series, this map loss streak, I should say. And that's the key issue and the reason why eSuba should not have a great time against the BP5 side on this one, alongside the all rest of the strengths that we have for BP5. They will at least be on the T side starts, so eSuba can get themselves off the strong foot. They can get a good CT half in. That could be the way forward for them, but I don't feel like it's going to happen at this stage. Pistol round going live. We've got the Julie straight in. Let's see what they can do with it. With a pistol round that finds Bloggers in the opening frag.
Well, they've got the Julies as a bait setup. They've got a couple of players backstabbing out from the underpass position itself. They haven't been able to clear out the van area. Bloggers gets away with a couple of kills. I thought that last one may have come through from a body kill, but no, it's a straight headshot, and Fleaves now the last one left. They know exactly where he is. He's even getting pushed in from the backstab and from the beginning of the apartments itself. What a great round for eSuba, and it was just a good read to be able to dive players underpass quickly, have the bait and switch out from the B side, and to, of course, get Bloggers not even checked at that van angle.
Straight, nice and easy. Bloggers to the triple, and a great pistol just so solidly held there from the eSuba side. BP5 are caught so far off guard. That's what I'm talking about. They've got great counterplays to the teams that they take on here on Mirage. If it goes so far as to gain that control, then maybe that could be, again, the way in for eSuba. We've got guns out, no bomb plant, force invest for BP5, has the pistols in play. Seeing what they can do with another B here, it seems. Flash straight in, Bedito just diving out of the window, but got caught completely blinded by his own flashbang, leaving his CT opponents to take on the challenge, win out the fight of the first player. See the second man with the bomb control and all. Backup has arrived, all 5 players ready towards the B defensive. Fleave can get one pick onto Bloggis with the Mac 10 that could get caught. No, Twist turns it around.
Now, that bomb can't really get dropped in the apartments, otherwise it makes that round so much more difficult. Coolio on the backstab is going to turn it back to a 2v2, and Fleave gets a pick. Okay, this is starting to actually look decent for the T's.
1-on-1, Petchin has seen his man, gonna swing spray and get his kill together for the 3K. Decent damage done in that particular round, but with the force invest for BP5, it's just gonna be that damage. No buyback to return conversion and try and keep the hurt arm.
I wonder, though, they didn't get a bomb plant. Do they force again? It is uncharacteristic to force like a couple of times in a row if you don't get a bomb plant. It's just that they did so much damage. They forced Petchin to try and get that clutch together. eSuba really had a difficult time dealing with that force, and yeah, BP5 do exactly that. They go to themselves, okay, let's continue putting pressure on it. We're going to win one of these rounds eventually.
Oh, you see the Galil's coming out for them, of course. A bit of a moment here of respite before BP5 can take on eSuba. A small technical pause as one of their players has DC'd. So we'll get him back in. We can get the standard 5v5 matchup going. Really solid start for eSuba, though. Again, it has been close from Budapest 5 in that last round in particular. And as you mentioned, it will lead into another force buy. I do question it at certain periods, but it does make sense when you think about the logic behind it. It's like, if we win this round, then yeah. We could reset eSuba in their entirety.
It is high risk, though, because still it puts you another round further back. If you're not able to do damage with it, if you're not able to get a bomb plant, it can get into a tricky situation. And maybe a conversation we can start talking about in terms of the map as well, is that BP5 put themselves in a very similar position as Fiend, who is on the other side of the upper bracket, is that they only play Mirage, or at least they only pick it. And it does mean for a lot of these like underdog teams, or maybe ones that you wouldn't put in the conversation as being favorites, they know what map's going to come through, because it's always Mirage for BP5.
Yeah, and I mean, you could argue the same thing for the likes of Fiend, and the reason why they might have been losing it as of late.
Yeah.
You know, there were great opportunities for counter-strats, and the reason why eSuba have gotten so far with it is counter-strats. So I'm looking forward to see how well the CT side in particular goes for the eSuba side, if they can maintain control of this. They did take on Fiend during the upper bracket on Mirage, and it wasn't quite as great for them. But again, it's a very different level of competition by comparison. Yeah. So, you know, we'll get to set the benchmark, I think, for this particular matchup for eSuba. Against BP5, though, again, I feel like all the advantages are in their side of the court, if that makes sense. All the favoritisms on this particular map goes towards them. And even though it's an awkward start, I think there should be a bounce back when we see the guns come out. And, you know, there's a reset potential right here. If they can win this round, then they get right back on track.
Well, it comes down to eSuba. Do they realize it? They probably think to themselves, well, they didn't get a bomb plant. They got full kills. Maybe they might force. It's an opportunity. So let's keep our eyes out for it. Let's make sure that we're aware and we're not getting sloppy at all. And for BP5, you know, the moment in between map 1 and map 2, have that mental reset, go, okay, Lifeline's already been lost, now we've really got to step it up. We've got to win map 2, got to win map 3 if we want to get these series over well. And again, this is the last lower bracket round 1 game, so whoever loses this isn't even getting prize money.
Pretty much, you know, a lot of importance on this matchup. We mentioned before how, you know, it's all about that money, you know, that money position to get into that top 6 area, which is what this match is all about. And of course, elimination for the team that doesn't quite make it. A lot to work with and a lot to gain in this particular victory if they can maintain it. Of course, eSuba are up by the map. BP5 have got to go through this one and get the win over on Nuke. Now it's into our second map and our third round of said second map. Rebuys in for both sides. You mentioned the force buy for BP5, and of course eSuba have got to respond with M4s and SMGs. One for Master in for Twist, so it's not ideal, but it's early game with a ton of damage.
Well, there have been lasers sometimes with these SMGs, for Luco in particular, so probably not the worst weapon to have in his hands. BP5, though, really got to try and see if they can work something out for this default. With a couple of players in con and Petchin being boosted up from the short position, you've got a lot of eyes on mid here for eSuba.
Walks in Corey and Coolio. Engaging against Luco. Incendiary sprays through, smokes down, nades back to try to return some damage, but it's just drive-away utility. Nothing major coming into the early round.
In terms of util out on this B site, there's not really a massive amount between Blogus and Twist, so could be quite difficult for them to establish some sort of hold and slowing down this BP5 side. They're going to go B for the 3rd time in a row.
As they say, 3rd time's the charm. Maybe this could be the one where they get the round itself. Petchin wants to think otherwise, alongside Twist holding out towards the short control. No one's at market, but still the kills start just pouring in for these CT players. The crossfire locked out, 2 versus 5. Coolio and Fleeve held away. Petchin's not burning. Savannah is going down to Fleeve, however, so the market control eventually leads towards that first F for the CT forces, but still a 2-man advantage. Coolio drops as well, and Fleeve held back in quite literally in the corner back here at Van. Caught off by Blogus for his 2K and for the round for eSuba.
Now, I was just going to say, watch out for that smoke. Download the demo, check it out for the default position. It's a great one that you jump through, it lands, it bounces, and it goes out towards market door. And then it just landed, like, on top of the site itself. It did not go down to the right position. The kills weren't able to come through on the post plant at all, so they have a difficult time in doing so. And for BP5, what makes that round really difficult is the sense that they lose so much before they even really have a chance of getting it together. They might force buy again, though, honestly. They got another bomb down. Yeah.
They will? Well, yeah. Kind of.
Yeah,
kind of like a
really.
double hero AK buy of a sort. So, like a bit of a borderline force. Hard execution towards the A side, though. The set piece taking us back to basics. eSuba have been probably expecting the B side play to be very frivolous from the T side line. They've got a lot of mid control, leaving the A side pretty sparse. The rotations can come in quick as the guns do come forward, and the Eagles can land those first kills in. Savannah can trade back alongside double up on Badito out of Palace, so 4 versus 3 for the CT favor will ensue. Aaron's got a gap and a smoke to try exploit from rotations. They're all coming in from connector in CT though. Savannah eventually gets overwhelmed by the wall bangs and the AKs. Aaron could also be dead to rights on low HP. Nades under the back of the site will tag up Coolio as finally Aaron will end up falling here in the retake. Swing back onto Fleeve, leaves Coolio alone, 1 versus 3. Deagle shot on the first man, does his damage, continues to keep the hurt on eSuba, but it's a 4-0. 4 spies, Dwight, what do you think?
Well, this is now a gun round, isn't it? Because you've got double AKs, lost bonus is great, bomb plant, and 3 kills for the T side respectively. So money's going to be flowing for them going into the next round. And even though they're down 0-4, they haven't been able to manage a round on this T side. They've managed their economy to absolute perfection. They've just been doing a great job with getting the money together. This is a fantastic shot there from Coolio as well. Just doing as much damage as possible.
Economy management has been great on the T side favor as well to the CT detriment. 4-0 at the start, sure. Like you mentioned, however, this could be still a reset for eSuba. Orps in on both sides. Fleeve has one out for BP5. Nades in to the ramp control. Should dish out the damage towards Corey. Down to 63 points of HP early. Still taking that primary swing. The M4 scene, and the smoke comes back to counteract the set piece coming in for the T side line. Corey still out, and he will get caught by Luco. Great start to spray through, and the CT's back up. Wait for them all to go down, and we'll go for the retake or deny it. Actually, they spray through that smoke and catch the man off guard.
I think there's a gap in the left-hand side of the CT smoke. Aaron's going to be able to get 1 kill through the smoke itself. Petchin does exactly the same. The T's really need to show up in this 2v4 now. This is tough to hold.
Yeah, Fleeve and Aaron could concede the best round for eSuba thus far in this matchup. Here on Mirage, the bomb plant in the open, and Aaron does catch an angle on Petchin. They've tapped the bomb, Twister with a swing, and just gets that headshot immediately. The AWP back in, could get flashed off, refacing, looking for the next player of Savannah, but not quite going to get an opportunity to get that kill. The defuse can get stuck, and eSuba can have 5-0 to the start. And damage was done to the CT line. There's still some money building up as a result of their transgressions. BP5, another buys on the table. So much money flowing the way of the T-side line. They're just being relentless with these forces.
Yeah, they are. The problem here for BP5 is even though they're keeping the rounds tight, they're making sure not many CTs are surviving, they're not converting rounds. And in terms of momentum and just positive mindset for eSuba, this has got to be at an all-time high. No matter how the rounds have been going, we're 5-0 up, looking to get a 2-0 forward.
That's the big concern for BP5 right now. It's not the economy, it's not how close the rounds are, it's getting the rounds themselves. Flash in, Corey struggles against Petchin, who somehow finds that kill away here. Twist held back towards the van corner. He does get overwhelmed as Aaron and Bedito can finally force out an advantage and a site control plant.
Oh, much better. And even Coolio's going to cut the rotates off from top mid. That's a much better execution out from the B side. Yeah, they lost that first fight from Corey very early on. It was the trading game, though, that came through. Bedito and Aaron being able to get picks. They've got that late lurk. They've even got Aaron going back into ladder room, dealing with bloggers. And in terms of the money on the CT side, it hasn't really had a chance of being built up at all. Great returning for the Hungarians.
Yeah, big stuff posted. They're first on the board. eSuba can save one rifle in Savannah. But it might have to be an eco around this weapon to get the true guns back out in the next round. The economy is on a decent basis for the savings, but there's no lost bonus to work with whatsoever. What do we think, Dwayne? Half buy on the table or not?
Nah, buy it up, 100%, no questions asked. You'll be able to drop one M4 onto the saving player. Money's decent, it's not perfect. You'll still be able to get something on. BP5 now looking to try and see if they can follow up. Bloggers is going to be able to get an AWP himself. It does mean, though, because he invested it, he won't get any armor.
Neither will Twist. Well,
yeah, you're right.
An M4, limitations on the eSuba side, they will go for that buy, but it still could have its issues if BP5 can challenge appropriate. Smokes on standing mid control, sets the smokes back in with the CT side, suppression involved towards Sniper's Nest. But just suppression. eSuba want nothing to do with the mid defensive itself.
I'm very surprised about the glass cannon M4. Almost never see that. Could have been a misbuy and just not aware of how much money was actually there. And for BP5, they've even got a decent window of opportunity in from this connector play. Savannah is just trying to jump spot, look for info, has not seen either of them.
Missed his window of opportunity. The AWP. The CT side will watch out from ramp. Their bases are covered, even if separatingly so. Utility in the smoke down towards that jungle position. Shoulder bait, shot missed out. Got to rely on the bait and switch player of Luco to get that kill. Corey can catch Blogger. Savannah still held towards CT. Drops that bomb. Rotations will get here in a 3 versus 3. He's being overwhelmed. Corey can't get that kill though. Savannah doubles up against the man advantage. Aaron takes it right back to a 2-on-2 with the AWP coming in. Flashed out. Twist might have heard those footsteps. AWP still close. He's the gun barrel. And the no scope can't connect it, leaving it all onto Savannah. Out towards CT still. Flashes coming over. Can't deny the bomb plant. 19 HP to go for this clutch, and all angles are locked out. He's got no util to support. He'll swing in and fleeve. Easy shot.
That's a great recovery, again, from BP5. Aaron getting that pick onto jungle is pretty much the difference maker. And honestly, I don't know why that pick came through for the City side. They just aggressed with a walkout in front of that smoke, and Aaron is just waiting for the play. They had that 3-on-2 advantage and just sort of wasted it. Savannah doing workout from the City spawn area. And sometimes those one mistakes, those one push forwards can change everything. And yeah, Petchin moving through that smoke. That was the difference maker. That kill right there.
All important frag back as the CT's going to maintain control after that particular kill. And of course, too low HP for Savannah. Even if he was able to evade that AWP, the main rifle would have gotten him. And that leaves BP5 with their start to convert their second round in a row. And eSuba with an eco base is going to try force forward against these guns. And they do catch Petito off guard. One AK turned in for Savannah. Does not hold on for much longer. Coolio will get his triple. And yeah, maintaining control of the round here for BP5. 8 sites gained. Bombs can go down. Nothing that Luca or Bloggers can do in this round.
That's normally what happens on an eco, is that you regress forward as a pack, you get a first kill, you go, great, we've got a rifle, and then you just get mopped after that point. So holding on to it's going to be difficult, and they're not really able to do so for very long at all. BP5 being able to clean up all the pieces, get themselves up to 3. Very similar to how really Vertigo started, where it was action on from the start. We never got like a massive lead that came through and one team was just getting decimated. It's maybe not so much the same back and forth nature, but it is competitive.
Back within 2 of the lead. Timeout being called by eSuba. I believe this is tactical and not technical. The CT is currently in a decent position, again with the lead being gained and trying to hold it above BP5. The T's are catching up. And they have guns out for this one. The last round was a bit of a throwaway. You can't really take too much stock in that eco. Great USPs for the most part, and the M4s are back out in full force here. 5 of them. The M4 A1Ss. The flash is over for Aaron. They're trying to get themselves set in initially. Raining against the CT forces, but no one's taking direct contact here.
Now, they have been loving this B bomb site, and Twist actually just spams through the smoke. The execution's going to be coming in. There is 3 players on this B side.
Twist with a smoke down. Molotov's coming up and over. CT's on hard rotate, and they'll try to then get towards the bomb carrier. Bedito and Fleeve can get those picks on the center of the site and out towards short, so it's an advantage that tips back to the favor of BP5. Twist may be known. The bomb goes down with flash support and util on. Fleeve close with the AWP, that's baited out. Aaron gets his kill onto Savannah. Twist can get 2 picks back in the 2 versus 2, and they're both held towards Van. Is Luca ready for these individuals? His head might be toned away from position, and Coolio can catch that frag for it. Twist stands alone, caught off by Bedito all the same, and another great round here for BP5.
And they're playing with a fair bit of pace, and even with that, they lost the opening man advantage. They had 3 players to deal with on B, and they just open up very well. They're able to get some good entry paths in. Twist doing as much as possible to try and hold that round together. Luco not pre-aiming out to the van position, and we just see Bedito being able to work with Coolio in that sort of situation. Get him up to 4. BP5, perfect opportunity of tying up the scoreline at 5-5 now.
Small mistakes and misreads there from the eSuba side, costing them these rounds, and it's what enabled BP5 to get themselves now 4 in a row. And a 5th one in a row as well should be coming in. Just the hand cannons, half-ball pistols. Mostly even without Kevlar to the CT side. And a stack in towards that A side, which is the only way they're going to win this if BP5 want to play towards that A side. They've gone towards B so many times that you would imagine that wouldn't be the case here.
Yeah. And then you start second-guessing yourself, don't you? When we see so much variation in terms of just the set pieces of where's it really going to come from. Seeing some aggression out from his powers position itself. Aaron dealing with the first and the second, and, well, not really even much damage being returned.
Nice pickings on 2. The T-side players will just walk their way on towards that B site, get that plant down. And just secure it from here on out in the round. Corey be watching for even more contact. Can't quite get that second pick in for his own, right down at 1 point of health though. So got to be careful not to give up his life. Not like it will matter too much though. The economy state of BP5 is fantastic. Petian faced in by Fleeve. And it should be 5-0 to the start, or 5-all to the start now for BP5 from eSuba's 5-0 advantage. Things start coming up Hungary. 1 more kill, 2 more kills go their way, and again the guns can come back for eSuba. That's their main focus. This round is they're going to throw away. They can afford all the M4s and even an AWP if they so desire.
Well, if any of the viewers that was watching the game on day 2 between eSuba and Fiend, you'll remember how Mirage went last time. 5 rounds on the CT basis they started, Jay. Didn't really get a lot of success, and then when they got to the second half, they weren't even able to find anything. So I'm looking at this situation thinking eSuba have to take a lead going into the second half if they really want to contest out here on Mirage.
It's a promising start, but they haven't followed suit. And look at how much aggression the T's are going to take. Again, the lack of mid-control, the lack of mid-challenge from eSuba. Twist is believing that there might be somebody out here in the sniper's nest, and it'd be right to assume so. Not going to catch Bedito. He is bought vision and loses that fight.
Now, had the right read. Petchin should be able to get a pretty easy trade back to bring it back into a 4v4. Start rotating players back over to CT spawn.
Here come the T side. Savannah's seen 1. Flashbang coming over. Molotov to drive him away from CT spawn itself. It'll be best for the CTs to back off and wait for the bomb plant and then go for the retake off the back of that. Minute 2 the clock. So BP5 will have on the side. Just only a matter of time before the device gets planted. Taking their time with this, hoping that eSuba give up a mistake.
Bloggers is waiting for that top con smoke to start to dissipate so we can get some sort of angle onto the site itself. BP5 really running down the clock on A.
Firing blind. Bloggers couldn't catch the carrier. incendiaries on towards Firebox as Fleeve watches with the AWP. Further util in, smoking off that cross and smoking off the bomb. Nades on, flashes not available for the CT side. A second smoke can come back from Bloggers if necessary. AK swing with a flashbang in assistance from Fleeve. Luco can trade it to a 3 versus 3. They're on the bomb, tapping it once or twice. They isolate Aaron, get the kill on Coolio as well. Corey back here towards jungle, caught back by Bloggers on rotation, and the kit's still in for Savannah to just defend the lead for eSuba.
We have seen some excellent retakes for both of these teams over the course of map 1 and map 2, and right there, it doesn't actually look that winnable for eSuba. First of all, they lose that first fight onto Petito, just pulling distraction, wasting time. Even up on the A site itself, Coolio swings out from Palace, and then just how quickly these kills come together. They force players out to the open. Bloggers was looking up to that Palace position for a peak for so long, and it wasn't until that kill from the M4 came into the site that then that AWP was able to find impact.
Impact is what it found. Nade set, smokes inbound, T-side players about to make their moves in. We've got Savannah and Luco on the defensive here towards A. Smokes up, sprays, come good for Corey. As Luco gets caught, Savannah still back behind said smokes, looks on towards the CT bases, gets one kill, but only one kill. Badito with a responsive. Corey is such low HP, he's a good trade, but the concern is the man advantage. The CTs might end up backing off here. They can't find the gap into the bomb plant's position. They can catch Coolio in the end, so back to evens we go.
This backstab could be everything. Great pick coming through from Petito. Now it gets back into a 2v2, and now the distraction starts getting pulled. Does the Palace player read the backstab?
Ori currently isn't. Gets caught for it. All left to Fleeve. AWP out of ramp, gets his pick on, and now Petchin knows where he is. Can he catch him over at Tetris? Yes, he can. Do some shoulder bait damage, but back towards the site. The adjustment's not there, and Petchin just has enough time to get this defuse with 3 kills to his name. It's 7 to the board of eSuba.
Multi-frag really needed in that sort of situation. Not going to be able to go back over to the AWP, being too far away. Fleeve just not quite getting that connection. And Corey was having a decent round himself, and when you think about the way that they opened up the site, yeah, Corey was down on 4 points of health. They give themselves a 4v3, they do everything right. Petito doing damage, not keeping eyes on that backstab, hurt the round, and then the AWP just not coming in successful when it matters the most.
And that backstab was everything. Had it gone back towards ramp, it might have gotten caught off by the AWP. He got the low HP player, of course. Ultimately making it an easy pickings for the likes of the last player left alive. Still a very hard buyback for the CT forces. An SMG in for Savannah. Orps, M4s in, of course, and everybody else. Kevlar without helmets, limited utility sets. That's into the mid-control default for Petchin. BP5 find their way in towards that mid-default.
I've never really seen mid-challenged other than the early few rounds from eSuba. These last sort of maybe 8-9 rounds or so, they're just not even interested, and it's allowing a lot of map territory to come through. Corey somehow still wins that fight and follows up to make it a second.
Way too late on the swing from Twist. Even Luca could fall back into the trap here at Connector. He does catch Corey and actually turn back towards Badito. Double up for the man to a 3 versus 3, and suddenly this round has gone back to an even standing. Aaron leaning up with the AK, coming out of ramp, checking out the default plant, checking out the firebox. Look towards Sandwich. Perhaps Savannah's set outside a connector. He might need his backup to come in from the CT sniper nest and out from the market angle. His back's turned. Oh, not good. Kill in for Aaron. Doubles up again. And Bloggis is left with an AWP to clutch without a kit.
I don't know what is happening in this best of 3. We're just seeing wild stuff from both teams. Corey gets a 5-on-3, like, right, round is done. Luco then gets 2 kills. You go, oh, hang on, round's not done. And then immediately, oh yeah, Aaron just gets 2 kills, round is done again. We're in so many of these rounds where it looks so one-sided, then something happens, and then just things get mixed up.
The back of the SMG was turned on this occasion, so it's pretty much down to his fault and his mistake. 6th round to the board of BP5, of course, back within 1 of eSuba. You mentioned how they need a lead on the CT side to get this, to get contention in the second half. But is 1 round difference going to be enough for the CTs? Is 1 round difference going to be enough for eSuba going into that T-side line? Or will that just be a bit too little too late?
It's difficult to call because at the same time, even if it is just one round, it's what's the momentum like moving into that second half? Is it really looking flat? So I think being able to try and push that lead to 9-6, if you can, would be a great position. Of course, that's easier said than done. We're seeing a half buy in and around the AWP and the MP9. Even some aggression looking to come through from mid. Corey's going to get run boosted.
Across the left-hand side of the mid control. Hoping that the CTs are out there somewhere. And you see we're stacked in towards that A site with this half buy round. AWP and SMG being the two main weapons. Again, looking towards guns going into round 15. And Bedito walking up, AK in connect and out. Can't see anything of the CT side. They spread themselves out from here.
You'd have to imagine the first pick is going to be everything. And for Corey, just starting to make a slow walk, aggressive play up from that short position itself, does get picked off by the AWP, but now they can start rotating players back over to B if they fancy.
Kill on. Double up for Savannah as well. Bedito caught. Coolio struggles to deal with the AWP. The AWP fortunately doesn't hit his shot either, but gets a second chance and capitalizes on that. Can't see the next player. Does look back in for the AWP field battle. SMG also involved as Bloggers swings. Molotov's burners. Flea can get 2 kills on his own. Can grab and plant, but CT surrounding him here from the short and apartment's entrance. Market is the only angle that's open for him, and now he takes face towards short. Gets his triple. Anything left for the Quadra? Lucas now watching. Flea's back his turn. He's timed it well to escape and go for the A rotate. Could also catch Twist at the right timing. No, the AK finds his spray and finds the 8th.
Well tightened in the end of that round for eSuba because it got very sloppy in that position. How the Julies got the pick to connect up, I don't know. Like that kind of range up against a rifle for Bedito, you never favor a Julies in that sort of fight. And even Bloggers, just the way that he's able to get a pick on the run around to short when he's in window itself and get out to market into the B site and continue doing damage, that was the only rifle in that round.
The Julie Metadweg.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
It's coming. It's coming.
That's what I was looking forward to the most in the new patch. Very viable weapon now. Definitely viable in that particular round, of course. It kind of was the main difference maker. Unexpectedly so. Budapest 5. One more set piece to come out from the Palace dive, perhaps. 3 players are set in for it. Flash is coming over. Try and stop them getting their way out of the ramp position. Savannah's watching the Palace entrance, and 2 players can split in from connected to go for a bit of a split play. Beluco caught with the contact, swing, bait and switch now. M4s and Orb still watching, flashes off the corner. Savannah still looks in, spray goes alright. Bedito with his kill. Corey gonna lurk back. Bloggers can only get 1 frag before he drops. Petchin and Twist still working up. Petchin can find 1 frag, but a bomb will get planted.
A difficult retake for the CTs to work with. The bomb is still not yet planted, and a wallbang spray comes through into Bedito. The bomb's dropped in the open now.
Wasn't expecting that. I thought eSuba were going to back off, but no, they want to try and contest this still. Run that timer even lower, get a bit more pressure on BP5. Bomb plant attempted a second time. Will they go for the wall bangs again? Yes, the exact same position. And Petchin reads it for a second time. 3 kills to his name. Corey nading them down, evading most of that damage for the CTs, fortunately, as they counteract with util of their own. And Corey just can't quite work in. He's finally going to get a line in. Try catch off Petchin, go for another plant, another wall bang. Is it going to be easy? Yes, they just feed him! Petchin, same spray for 3 kills, 4 in total, and 9 to the board to close out the half for eSuba. if Flea wants to try and extend. Could catch a cheeky kill if he's good.
Now, how quickly do the T's realize that they've missed the window smoke completely? Well, they're going to see it now, and they're also going to see the Deagle pick coming through from Flea. At least the trade from the Molly comes in pretty much straight away.
Yeah, that could have led to disaster in an eco victory had they not got that trade in. Imagine someone's going to go back for that AK in a few seconds' time. Petchin's making his way back up as they clear out short. Clear out the market window as Corey is not watching that angle at all. Pick found the man advantage. Allen still turns his Deagle into success. Almost gets that second player as well, but Savannah as the P250 and the damage, of course, appropriate to get his picks in. Flashes over, leaving this USP. Bedito is the only thing left. 2 T-side players about to take place against him, but a USP going to get 2 perfect headshots, and that's not even going to happen against Petchin. His MAC-10 did take a bit of damage. They didn't recover that AK, though, so Coolio's got a rifle to work with, and all in all, that's a pretty decent eco, I think, for BP5.
I'd be very happy with it if I was BP5.
Yeah.
You're getting a few kills in, you're trying to keep the economy low, you've got a rifle that you can work with. Coolio's just going to see if he can get one more exit kill. Yeah, you still want to play quite defensive, you don't want to lose that AK at all. 11 on the board for eSuba, BP5. Pretty much all of the focus goes into this next rifle round to sort of say, right, are we going to see some magic from the Hungarians?
And I've got to convert into the rifle rounds when you want to see some magic at this stage. Turned away from effective. (12-6) advantage right now for eSuba. Again, decent enough damage being done by this CT side. Will it convert into a definitive sort of gun round? The big thing on their minds and everybody else's minds at the moment. Should be seeing that extent of the rifle by in a short few moments. Here we are, M4's AWP. Still a bonus round out for eSuba, a lot more AK basis, and they're going to go for a straight execution towards that B site for it.
Yeah, seeing the arch smokes being lined up, not a lot of head Kevlar for this CT side. This is just going to be explosion onto B.
Smoke to get a bit of covering fire. Coolio burns Petchin alive to open things up for BP5. Savannah's going to catch Coolio back over towards bench. They'll know that he's there. Try to find a flank in against Corey. Get his kill. Coolio can trade him and drop that bomb in the open. A 4 versus 3. CT's holding. Fleeve on the backstab rotation. Aaron gets involved to pick up another good player as Luco just tried to bail himself out of a corner here. He stands alone against 2 kills, but not able to get 2 more. As BP5 will find their first at the CT side.
It was just well read coming through from BP5. They've got players in the right position. The backstabbing from Fleeve does immediate damage with that orb, and the bomb just gets dropped in the site a couple of times. Makes it really difficult to bring anything back. Luco does recover that round in terms of damage itself, be able to get the investment forward going into the next. And for BP5, now it's about following up. Now it's being about finding consistency on this CT basis.
Yeah, 4 guns in from both sides. eSuba can be relatively happy. What was a bonus round in that last one? AK's AWPs versus M4s and AWPs. 1 AK for Aaron, of course, safe in the previous round. BP5 with a little bit extra firepower in that respect. Got to turn it into the 5 that they need to catch up against eSuba, however, and eSuba playing a different strategy every single round. This time into mid control. 4 players out. Util from Twist can go up towards the A set. He was watching that Topcon smoke dissipate. What would he catch off? The flashbang to his face.
They know exactly where the Orca is now, and even Petito falls. That's a great opening kill to come out from the top of connector itself. Fleeves needs to find another multi-kill. They're looking to pick him in. The Orca misses the shot, and oh, it's falling apart completely. They do have a backstab from Aaron.
See several transfers his way into a 2K. Can't quite get Twist, but he's brought it back to a 3v3. Flash support does blind off his teammates as much as it blinds off the T side. That bomb in the open. Twister's just got to wait back here with his teammates ready to swing in from connector and from jungle. Bloggers finds the angle, deals with Aaron, so it's all left to these 2 CT individuals. Fleeve and Coolio without kits, got to act super quick. They're running out of time, and Bloggers has found a gap in that smoke to deal out the next player. Fleeve with the adjustment, can't quite get that second player. Will try and look in for a bit more, but unfortunately, the shot's just not going his way. The time's against him. He's out of this round. It will be eSuba with unlucky 13.
Just trying to see if he can get out of there, not go down to the bomb blast at all, just surviving on 8 points of health. And eSuba, what a great return that is. The opening pick as they walk out from the top of column position is everything. Aaron did so much damage coming out from the palace position himself. The only problem, Jay, where's the support? Where's the frags coming in from Coolio and Fleeve? They're just not there.
And Fleeve tried to recover it, but after all his teammates went down, it was virtually impossible for him. Need to get that support, need to find a new way in, a new lease on this matchup for BP5. Half buy-in for the next round, of course. The Eagles are surrounding that AWP, hard stacking towards the B site initially, expecting a rush. They're setting up for the A set piece and they'll go straight in for it. Smokes down as stairs. I think the connected jungle one missed. No, it did go up in the air, it was a little bit late. Either way, the teasers bursting out onto the site will clear out all angles or back lines. No gaps in the smokes this time, the bomb should get planted. Aaron can't find an angle to work with. eSuba, 5 rifles versus 4 pistols and an AWP.
You might as well save onto the AWP. Everyone else, though, have a decent crack, see if he can get something of it. Corey finding that first pick. So many T-side aggressive. Jeez, they're taking a fair bit of damage in this one.
3-on-3 and Coolio sneaks in. Savannah has no idea he's being crept upon. So that's a kill. The AWP blogger's going to look out towards Connector's position, gets caught by Aaron, and the T-side player back at ramp can't hold off for much longer. So BP5 actually do turn that into a retake.
I don't know how they've managed that. Honestly, they catch off the T's, just getting way too aggressive in the matter. Savannah's looking out to that jungle and top comm position rather than the backstab in from CT. And then even just the AWP of Fleeve is so defensive in CT that he's just waiting for that peek out to defend the bomb itself. No one had kits at all in that situation. So this pick has to come in immediately, because if they get baited, and the diffuser gets death, and they can't get onto the bomb, that round isn't theirs. That is such a sick kill from Fleeve.
As the AWP in for the next round because of it. Rifles are standard, T-side. Half buy, in contrary to the fact they got that bomb plant bonus, and the first kill goes the way of Fleeve, and the AWP again finds another good frag. Looking for a little bit more as the T start walking up from underpass. Not quite aware of it. They heard the player rotating away. The smoke will start to clear now, but Dito's going to see what's going on. Struggles to deal with Savannah. And Corey now knows there's a player that could flank him, play up towards top mid. USP takes his swing, gets his kills. Unfortunately, the CTs just maintain control.
There wasn't much investment going into this eco, so they come out with it, not really finding much, not really expected. So BP5 get up to 9 and start the comeback train. Just start being able to pull more rounds, close the gap, keep it tighter. For eSuba, rifles are going to come into the next round.
Could have been some damage potential right there. Sadly, not quite going the way of the T-side forces. As you mentioned, money is flowing now for the T-side line. And the big concern right now for BP5 is whether they get this next round or not, because that's what puts them in the danger zone. Tactical pause coming in for eSuba in this occasion. Up onto Bloggers. The AKs all come back out. They have a full buy if limited on utility sets. But all they've got to do is get one good execute, and suddenly they will be back in the driver's seat and only 2 away from taking the unlikely 2-0 that we wrote off at the very beginning of Mirage.
This round has a lot of importance weighing down on it, and even out in terms of mid, we're not seeing much aggression at all. Fleeve looking for a con pick with a flash over the top from his teammate. Boost up for the AWP, missed chance comes in, Fleeve double dip, doesn't quite find anything. At least the HE comes through, even with that doesn't get placed correctly.
eSuba are real lucky they didn't get punished right there. Like, no AWPer sticks around with that boost for as long as Bloggis did. They're lucky that Fleeve missed his shots and his nades. Smoke comes back in to cover off that cross. Blind fire flashes in to allow the T-side players to get up towards Stack and now dominate the mid position.
Yeah, Fleeve is now going to play quite defensive up to this top comm position, knowing that he has been aggressive into the round itself. Didn't grant himself any success. Just trying to see if they can bait an early peek and aggression out from the short position. Luco misses the chance.
Takes damage for it. Fight gap in that smoke. The Fleeve's going to try isolate, but the top con smoke just keeps him completely suppressed, and they're waiting for these AWP shots to ring out before they go for the faces. eSuba don't want to give up an easy pick that they could be easily avoiding, but Dito does get caught by Petchy, who takes a bit of damage towards that M4. Coolio is going to reveal his angle to try and siphon them away. Smokes will clear towards top con. Orpa Fleeve looking in. Could get caught out towards Palace. Still more connected presence. Aaron gets that one frag back in, doubles up to drop that bomb planter. His teammate will fall, but Luco will trade it to a 2v2. Can get picked up and planted again, but CT's in it. CT spawn with 25 seconds, and they're not watching this. They think it's completely clear. They're looking for rotation angles, and now they start to turn their attention to the right place, but with 19 seconds, they're backed up towards ramp. They've got to get the kills in quick, and Coolio lets them go no further. Savannah sees Corey, 10 seconds, AK swing, M4 spray, adjustments evolved, and Corey can just hold the clutch for BP5.
Oh, what a sweat fest that round is. You think for a moment that Corey may have just whiffed it, not getting that immediate trade, gets the job done, gets them up to 10. The boost up from the short position on that city side didn't work at all. Fleeve just getting hit by so many of those bullets. What a hold that is for Aaron. For him to deal with the palace lurk and drop that bomb to the top of stairs, slowing that whole round down and allowing Corey to win this 1v1, keeps Budapest 5 in this game.
All important. Nays stacks set in to try catch off players in the connector control. Bedito takes virtually none of that damage. And eSuba's half by, looks to get cleaned up by Fleeve on his lonesome. They do get that AWP of the drop at least, but that's one casualty and no more than that. eSuba now two to the difference, 2 to their lead above BP5. Another buy is available for them, but they've got to start getting these rounds in. Budapest could catch up from here.
Well, the difficult prospect they're facing here for the Czech team is that they've done very well from the start, the respected halves. You look at that first half, they're up, what, 5-0? Have a look at that second half. They got the first 3 rounds, so that's already 8 rounds out of 13 that has just come from the start of both first half and the second. In terms of when the rifle rounds come in more frequently, that's where we've seen some further struggles coming through for eSuba.
Oh, this back angle for Bloggis flicks on, catches Aaron. Well adjusted from him, got the info and barely read onto his angle. Barely just gets that kill in. Or back for the CT side, not as successful with his crack angle positions, looking on towards connector. Smokes and nays, tagged to 26. And sprays blind, don't punish him. They now know that they're in danger.
That is an incredible first shot from the AWP. A very difficult flick to hit. Fleeve looking for some sort of return out from window itself. Could deal with Luco if he extends further forward.
Swinging from Twist, catches Bedito. Fleeve caught off by Luco, and this is one of the most perfect rounds we've seen from eSuba in its entire series so far. 5-on-2 with Coolio held back a ticket. Utility coming in, bomb plant in the safest position possible. Savannah doesn't get wallbanged in the way that he was dishing out wallbangs to BP5. Corey can at least catch Bloggis. That's one pick to trade. And they got a fair amount of cash. The retake could still be on here for the CTs. It's just going to be unbelievably difficult with the positions that eSuba now have. AK setting for Zavada. If he gets this kill on Corey, that will basically be enough. Gets ahead of the smoke, finds his man, sprays through, 2 kills in his Twist. Simultaneously finds Coolio, and it's 14-11. eSuba 2 away from the 2-0.
That is, you bang on the money with it being one of the perfect rounds from them, and it couldn't have come at a better time, right? That gets you up to 14. It's that momentum boost that you're just looking for. It starts off with that first flick from the walkout of Palace, and then just the way the connector players are working together, forcing out those fights, not really taking a lot of damage. BP5, they are going to get Corey on the double AWP. This is something different.
Shot in for him, catches Petchin. Did not see the player crossing. Savannah is known up towards that top of stack. Will get naded down. Initial damage done as BP5 continue working into the mid defaults. The CTs depressed. Luco leaning in. Incendiary back. Good play from Bedito. Well timed.
Just trying to see if he can get away from that flash, evade as much of that util as possible. Bloggis waiting for a jiggle peek, waiting for any kind of extension towards that topical position, and it might just come in.
M4 continuing to watch. Eyes set, flashes on, but Bedito keeps his eyes on as well. Smokes back and Twist leaning in. T-side players will walk up and into the A commitment, but there's 3 CTs to deal with them here. BP5, the perfect reads on eSuba. Aaron's going to be that first contact. Will Twist catch him?
Oh, it seems like they're going to put more utility forward. Great HG. Aaron drops that bomb, gets the information straight away.
Seeing that AWP in the back as well. Caught flash, Molotovs and nades coming in. CT players on the rotations back. They've got one player already at the stairs angle. Fleeve might not be detected here at default. He stuck his way forward. Bomb plant coming in. Backs a turn. No! Stroke not missed. The AK gets the kill. That's all important for eSuba.
Oh my goodness, that changes everything. And now they can start focusing their attention back out to jungle and from top of con. BP5 have got no one in from spawn itself. It's going to take longer on the rotations for them to get there.
But Dito will try get to that position. The T's are watching it for such a long period of time. 2 flashes over will indicate they're making their way up, and Twist just has that angle on lock. Gets out of dodge. Got to turn back towards connector, because that's where Coolio is. Finds his frag, but Dito looks in towards Firebox, gets a think off for his trouble. The jumping face gets the frags together, but 10 seconds. The AWP's caught off, covered by Coolio, with the defuse coming in for BP5 to stay alive.
Oh, okay. They get the job done. And there was only one person in that situation at Badito that had that kit. The rest got picked up later on. Oh, the time is so low. What a recovery. And Fleeve, he probably had the feeling that he'd lost that for his team. That missed AWP shot up close and personal was the difference maker. This one right here, it looks easy. Sometimes you struggle with the pressure. They make it work on the retake. That is a fantastic round for BP5.
A fantastic recovery for them as well. Like you mentioned, that AWP shot, in any other circumstance, probably cost them the round. BP5 with quick plays, timing well against eSuba, forcing them into the awkward angles and punishing them for it. Run boosts, Flick missed out from Fleeve as he tries to take that AWP straight in towards the T-side line. Can't catch any frags as of right now. He's turned away over towards short.
And he's still holding quite aggressively rather than falling back passive. Corey evading the majority of those nades up from the balcony position and stuck up for the top mid boxes. You'd have to imagine that getting sort of Savannah out of this position is going to provide further util and a lurk to come through from that underpass position to really try and open up mid. Finally, the util towards connector is going to force him further back passive ever so slightly to ladder.
Smokes on, Molotovs in. Damage done. Corey gets his kill. Smoke back against Twist as well. That bomb carries out towards apartments. That's going to be info gain. The split's going to have to come in early. The second set of T-side players are not quite in position though. Fleeve going to catch a frag, patch him with a trade, and Fleeve doubles up. All important for the AWPer as Bloggers falls to Coolio and he's not supported on his lonesome. Petchin, all that remains, making footstep noises in mid in the Sniper's nest. Bodito knows exactly what to do. Deal with him and get the round for BP5.
Now they're starting to really work with the hype, the momentum, just the string of rounds together. And that one was slightly easier than it was in the last. Corey being able to just pull enough distractions. Fleeve with the AWP is starting to really get on. And that was something that BP5 struggled with on the first map of Vertigo, was we never really saw star players. We never saw some big performances. And for Fleeve, when it matters the most, he is leading by the front in the entire server.
Yeah, he has picked up the slacks. And BP5, from what could have been a disaster map pick for them, now turns in to a map that could still be won. Still to overtake eSuba in regulation, not allow them to get to overtime. 14-13. Utility set with the Tech 9s up. The flash is coming over. Bloggers to dive down with the Tech 9 in hand. Was underpass. Set something up for the half by here. eSuba might take this as a throwaway. A bomb plant will be great. Damage will be fantastic. And they are so ready to make their moves into that B site here. Wait for the smokes to fade. Wait for the flashes to move. Wait for the contact to come.
That double pump coming through from the eSuba side. Corey with the AWP missed that first chance, and now the aggression's coming in.
No scope shot missed out. Tech 9 can come up, and Coolio and Fleeve can just line up the sprays. Crossfire held, shots on the site, not quite connecting together. The bomb does get stopped. And Petchin with not much left that he can do in this one. 14 apiece, BP5. Equalize against eSuba at last, but there is a gun buy, and that is the main focus for the T's here. They know this is everything they need to hold.
Well, in that round itself, they don't get the bomb down straight away. They don't even manage to get a bomb plant at all. I guess because they realize the bomb plant isn't actually that necessary for them. They want to do some damage. They want to give themselves the best chance of winning that round, and that comes down to applying pressure. AWP Jewel could come through from this round position itself. Bloggers gets the information straight away that Fleeve's on the other side.
Well, baited and smoked off. eSuba will have info. Also take a bit of damage early on. setting themselves up for the A play, perhaps a set piece. Walk out through the smoke is going to be dangerous. Fleaver's watching that. Bloggers better be ready with his pre-aim angles. Smoke fades. Player caught, sprayed up by like 2 AKs. Fetchin and Twist combined to get that kill. Aaron spotted as well. Will sandwich swing upon, gets 1 frag. Savannah can't trade it. And Twist trying to make his way around the corner here. Molotov's coming out towards the stairs. Will drive CTs away. Swing back with a flashbang. Mistimed again. Blinds off the T-side player as well. Bedito still caught at the edge of the smoke. And that's 2 left standing for BP5. eSuba don't have the bomb down yet, but they won't need it if Twist keeps fragging. Corey finally trades it and smokes towards the cross. Can enable that plant at last. And Bloggers will still catch his kill, putting eSuba back on match points.
Jeez, I'm having nearly a heart attack looking at the way that Bloggers is playing that round in a 3v1. Yeah, just want to get aggressive up at default and get the job done. Great entries out into the site itself. And Twist, it all came down to him, right? Yeah, he had the support with the util and players all around pulling distractions, but him finding 3 kills and dealing with the AWP on CT spawn immediately in the round gave them a real big helping hand for them to start opening up A and focusing their attention towards top con and that jungle area.
Tactical timeout. That's appropriate for Budapest 5. 1 round makes the difference between their lives and elimination here in the International Online Cup. 15 apiece, of course, to go to OT. That is the focus for this CT side. The smoke's up as standard. AWP if Fleave going to lean in first and foremost. Try to look for that first kill. Sees the boost up, but can't catch the frag.
Now, opening chance being missed out there by the CTs. Still keeping the AWP in play, though, and now start seeing if they can move Fleave around. He's been very deadly in and around that top of composition for the majority of this second half. Bedito now thinking about switching places with him. There is that one lurk out from underpass, now knowing an M4's been aggressive.
Nades back. Aggression in from Aaron. What's he going to find here? 2 backs turn. Petchin has no idea. Look at the insertion. He's going to find 3 players could line up. Easy for him. Petchin will take him down before he gets that triple. But it doesn't matter, I don't think. BP5 have gained a major advantage. Smokes out. Bedito looking in towards Dark has AWP to support it. And eSuba need a responsive now.
Oh, they just didn't expect it. Didn't expect it at all. Now they can start regrouping out to the A side. It's going to come down to how they deal with that underbout player. They've got 3 mollies, one of which has to come down onto Bedito's position.
Smoke set. T-side players watching. Fleave gets back to the site, back behind the danger box. 25. eSuba gonna work inland, or ready for the leg shot. Gets Petchin down at 17 points of health, enables his teammates for some easy pickings. Luco and Twist to become the next main concerns, but in a 4 versus 3, it's still advantage for the CT side. Bedito with 2, Luco with his trade, burning and sprayed. Corey closes it out as BP5 indeed do take us to overtime.
Alrighty, here we go, our first OT of the International Cup. And what it came down to was sneaky plays, right? Aaron moving forward out to ramp, not expecting it at all. And then even for Bedito, rather than being under balcony, he actually goes above, plays on top of the balcony position, doesn't really get checked, allows himself to get a couple of kills. And for BP5, they've been tested here on their map of Mirage, and we're going the distance.
Indeed we are. I mean, look, at the end, I think eSuba had a lot of potential in terms of taking this close on the basis of the counter strategies, the counter players that they've been able to formulate against bigger size squads. They've definitely applied that at this particular stage. And for them, I look at their map up so far and I feel like that there's still potential for them to still take it. But in overtime, it all comes down to the buy plays. That's what it comes down to, you know, all just down to the executions and how they're going to play things out on their T-side line. I believe eSuba will start things off on the T-side as well in that first half. And with the way that they got that early advantage in the start of the T-side half, I think if they can get a good rifle victory, that could convert itself into a really solid start for them.
The problem here is the comparison to the early starts in regulation is very different to overtime, right? Because we're seeing so many more rifle rounds and so many more gun rounds, whereas those early stages that we saw from them on the CT basis and their T side, we're seeing half buys and we're seeing ecos and we're seeing even pistol rounds coming out. So it is a different comparison, and for BP5, they really had to claw their way back into that, being able to just convert some very good rounds, being able to get individuals really fired up. And for them knowing, okay, we've got it to OT, let's get it further. Let's take it to map 3.
I think that they could probably do that as well here. BP5 are in a real solid spot, given the momentum that they just had at the end of the half. eSuba have only found the occasional rounds when it comes to those executions and those set plays on the T-side line. So whilst they have had a lead and while they've got a great advantage with the pistol and conversions and the follow-up rifles as well, that's what saved them here. I think had we just isolated the rifle gun plays and the executions that eSuba had, then probably we could be looking at a victory for BP5 already. As it stands though, 15-15. Double ops coming out for the CT side. I believe the first time we're seeing a double ops setup. Flea will take this one straight out into the mid control, trying to look for Bloggis in the catwalk position. The AWP watching the sniper's nest, but just receives no contact, sees bullets, doesn't get killed.
Badito waiting for an aggressive play over the course of that short smoke. Flash into Con. They don't know that he's there and playing around. He's starting to make some noise, and at least that smoke is the info that they're there, but the T-side still win out the fight. The trade comes back from Aaron quickly.
But now eSuba have an angle to work with here in connector control. They're going to drive CTs out of it as Fleeve does catch his pick on Savannah. Coolio waiting back at the short control. They think they've molled it off, but it hasn't extended all the way around. So angles to work with as Corey starts finding his picks. Coolio swings, gets his pick back onto Twist, and Bloggis left alone as the last man for eSuba with BP5 set and ready to take this first round to open up the overtime.
Everyone finding impact in this round for BP5, which is what looks the greatest. Bloggers just getting jiggle peeked in, does at least isolate that one pick in from Fleeve, so there's a start that comes through. How many more individual picks can he isolate? That's what he's thinking to himself.
Swings up, does see the AWP of the CT side line, look towards sight, overcooks the flick, and Aaron can catch his kill, double up in this round. And start things off. BP5 with the advantage, the lead that they have above eSuba. I believe the first lead they've had in this entire game thus far. I may or may not be mistaken on that front, but that seems about where we've been at. They've had equalized standings and they've always been on the back foot, but they've never had a lead. This could turn into magic right now for the CT forces. Once again, rebuys in from both sides. We're playing on 16k rules. With guns out, AWPs in. Looking for the lock-on shots, can't quite see the T-side.
Another one of these quick bigs that could actually work out really nicely. Coolio is the only player on B, and they've even left Luco on the T-side to top mid to cut the rotates off from Connector itself.
Flashes in, nades up, damage done to Pechin. Chipped away to 86 HP for now. Nades on with Badito, the incendiary set. Blogger's going to wait. AWP in hand, still looking up towards top mid, but just can't catch vision. No CT's going to give up.
It seemed that it was almost just a fake out in that B site, wanting to see if they can over-rotate the CTs, see if they can drive a fight in from mid itself, then slow it down and start working out a default. BP5 not giving much information away at all. Aaron's getting aggressive in con.
Can't see them. Now he does, but they swing together and they isolate the opening duel here for eSuba. 40 seconds though. They've got to go for the hit quick, and Fleeve could get overwhelmed by the T-side number. Sees the shadow, connected to kill alongside Badito with 2 trades out. A connector, or for Bloggers can't trade back, but it's still the advantage with the bomb control for BP5. Another kill for Corey. Pechin left alone. And just one counter play, one missed position is going to work out well, is what you think. But Coolio still adjusts against Pechin as he tried his trades, but couldn't get success.
eSuba set themselves up for finding a lot of success in for Connector. They find that first pick, you've got a couple of players coming in from ramp itself, the bomb gets dropped, and you've got Bloggers to get a trade back in ramp, and Pechin's the lurk on the B side. So really, when you put yourselves in that sort of position, the way of winning the round is nearly impossible. You need to keep those Connector players alive to allow those backstabs and those wrap plays to just catch the CTs off guard.
Smoke set in. One pushing up towards the mid position. Pechin, Molly and Flash. AK running out. The AWP will take its shot, but not connect its kill. Can find Savannah though. Start out looking for more. Smoke set in as well towards that catwalk position. The incendiary back towards Luco. Try and drive him forward and drive him out of position.
A great pick comes through to Fleeve out from the window position, so at least opens up an opportunity. How do they pick onto the AWP? Going to be very dry. Both players actually miss out on that chance of getting the pick.
Yeah, headshot difficult to hit for the AWP. The AK not successful in return. You're right, 4-on-4 scenario. The AWP of Corey is what's tagged up for BP5. And eSuba continue working in the connector and onto the A play. Look at where the smoke down. Try to siphon them off, but play into position and isolate a fantastic headshot.
There's another backstabbing player they don't quite know about. Aaron, oh, he's not being checked. He could actually deny the bomb from going down. Deals with that first player, looks to follow up, and that's his couple of kills. Coolio even getting into the mix.
It didn't account the idea that two players that pushed up ramps, so the ultimate turnaround against eSuba, and now the Deagle Corey having his back against Bloggis. Great shot in. The fuse will come forward. 18-15, the flawless CT half for BP5 as they finally come alive and get themselves on map point.
And that is absolutely the death scoreline, isn't it? The 3-0 on any half, any map of OT is so difficult to come back from there. And for BP5, they've been working hard. And for them, they've been able to bring this back into now a position where they're not only in the lead, they're actually building a lead. And they're one round away from turning it into a third map of Nuke. And for eSuba, it seems like they're just running out of fire.
Or is it all in their CT half? Saw them, of course, gain the slightly better scoreline over on their CT side. Thinking these defensive lines that BP5 were not ready for. Of course, the counter plays were all out on the CT half, and already Corey just giving up that opening frag to Savannah. Vedita making his way onto the site, going to get caught up by blind sprays from Luco. Re-smoke back down, the fast charge out with the smokes and the rush play. Can get one pick in, but Luco trades on a secondary pick of his own. Continues to hold down the back lines in a 4-on-2 scenario for eSuba.
Now, Aaron just waiting for another swing, another aggressive move to come through from the CTs. And from here, they're in a very difficult situation. So much utility coming through that Aaron eventually has to get forced away from Tetris. They've got the bomb at least, so it's not dropped in the open. They've got some time to work with. They've got one molly between two players. This is very difficult to recover.
Gonna try for the quick B play. Twist is the only man to hold on to it. If they go towards short and connector, it'll be exposed position here for Pechin. Utilize any sort of picks that you can find at this moment. BP5 are going to walk out towards that mid control. I don't know how many footsteps were heard there. I think Pechin might have caught maybe one. Wait with the M4, look onto short. See Coolio adjust towards him. Can't quite get Aaron, but Aaron's got 3 more CTs to deal with. The trades are good for eSuba as they find a new breath of life in the second half.
Now, finally, ending the streak, being able to see if they can bounce their way back, or maybe not, actually. Aaron gets a pick in from window. If you can isolate these 1v1s, there's a chance that he can bring that bomb to either B or to A.
20 seconds to make his call, and he's going to go back into the CT spawn. Unfortunately, Luco is expecting it and does adjust as appropriate. So eSuba with a 16th. Will it just be a 16th? Is there more to the story than just this consolation round?
There had to be some sort of weigh-in, really, for eSuba in the second half, and it has to come down to the early start. Pechin doing very well. Luco, the in-game leader, having another great sequence for himself. Double orbs coming through for Savannah and from Bloggis. BP5 looking to go in towards that ram contact. Oh, that's a scary one for both teams.
Yeah, I wouldn't really want to be either AWPer in that context, because that could have gone very, very wrong very quickly. Gunser in a stand, and the AWP's watching the CT side. That back passive waiting for BP5 to make their moves in. They're set up towards mid and apartments, indicating there might be a B split on the table. And with Fleeve bringing out that fight to Bloggis, that makes it more likely.
Now, be able to recover the AWP onto Luco, someone that we have not seen pick it up at all, really. Has to try and see if he can look back in from mid, get a bit of a pick back, start forcing overly aggressive picks, start forcing info plays. And for BP5, they really slow it down. We are not seeing anything. It's so silent for them now.
Rotations come back into the apartments, and we've got Twist and Pechin to hold off against the lot, to hold off this win for Budapest 5. Sprays through the M4s. Will try and keep them held at bay, try to draw their attention towards the van position, as he might even hold back with a smoke Look towards the side. Defensive miss shot from Fleeve. Could buy a chance for Luco, but he cannot turn that into a kill. Meanwhile, the hit's out. Savannah can get a kill. Swift with a responsive Corey and Fleeve get it back to a 3 versus 2 and 1. And Savannah is all that remains. Back on the back of the A defensive. On rotate towards B. Fleeve knows where he can come from the motor hole. And the AWP takes its shot. Can't quite connect to the Julies. Get that kill. But needs to find 2 more for a quadra clutch to keep eSuba alive. Molotovs is suppressed. 20 HP. He's got to go back in from shore. And 20 seconds to egg. Is this even possible?
He's running out of time and he misses the short jump. That pretty much calls it from here.
Yeah.
He's got to get both of those picks in so damn quickly. Now getting closer to 10 seconds. Even if he charges out to the side, it's not going to happen at all. Pete comes in for Potato and Budapest 5 get it done. Great result for them. Yeah, the scoreline was close. We had to go all the way to OT. They've clawed it back from relegation, regulation, I should say. Get the map over and done with. And now we're facing off into map 3 anew.